Let go of that booty.
And how'd you get signed to Motown?
Well, this club, when we got out here, Skip, our manager, got us with this club. It was called the Century 3000. This club was the most unique club because the stage, the backstage of the backdrop of the stage was the outside of the club. It was the glass window. The whole backstage, the back of the stage was a glass window, which as you drive down Century and Crenshaw, you could see the stage from the street. And like we always have these hot outfits on, and we were playing the Century 3000. We had built that club up to where it was packed every night. People were probably half a mile from the club, lined up from opening to closing every night. And our manager saw that opportunity as an opportunity to bring Billy Preston, one of his friends, by to see this pandemonium that we had going there, right? And when he came in, he said, "Oh man, these guys got to play with me. I got to take them with me." And within a week of him coming there, we were in Alaska doing a show with Billy Preston.
Mm.
So now...
That's a long way from Nashville.
Long way from Nashville now, right? So we go to Alaska, we do the show with Billy. That was the introduction to, because Billy had signed with Motown at that time. And that was kind of the introduction. But when we got back from off the road with Billy from Alaska, that little Alaskan thing we did, we went back to the club. Next person Skip brings down is Gwen Gordy. He brings, "Gwen, you got to see my group. You got to see my group." She comes down, sees that line of people, goes, "Oh my God, look at this. This is crazy," right? Comes in, sees the group, takes us to our house that night. We're Motown artists that night. And unfortunately, we didn't do a lot of stuff that was, that we should have done because it was a lot of excitement there. But we actually were Motown artists that night.
How celebratory were you guys when you knew you were gonna?
Blown away. It was the most incredible. It was, first of all, when we left the club, the ride from the club to Beverly Hills to our house had to be oh my God, I can't believe this. We really going to Beverly Hills. First we're going to Beverly Hills, okay? That's, well, we going to Beverly Hills. Finally, right? This is it. And this is Barry Gordy's sister. This is Gwen Gordy. Gordy. That's the word. That's the only word. It's Gordy, right?
Yeah.
And when we got there, they treated us so special. Anna Gay, Miss Gay, Miss Fuller, Gwen Fuller. They were so special to us, and they treated us so special. I'm not gonna leave that story out.
So you signed in like 78 or 79?
Yeah, 79. Well, 78, because we kind of, hung out, and, I ended up, I was the young one, so I still always had to be supervised. I still wasn't 18. so I couldn't really go nowhere. I was still the young guy, just like with the Endeavors. When I put Ozone together, those are all older guys, right? Everybody was older than me still. Probably everybody had me by at least 5 years. I was probably no, maybe 4 years at the closest to the next guy.
So tell us about how the first record, Walk On, came together.
Well, realistically, we had been in the studio throughout the whole year of '78, just recording demos and, I don't know if anybody's aware of the history of Motown, but getting a song passed through Motown is damn near impossible. So, songwriting is a big deal, and you got to write a lot of songs before you really get to, okay, this is a good one, So in '78, we was writing a lot of songs. We came up with this one that they really was very fond of called Don't Throw Our Love Away. And took forever. This is when I learned about recording and everything. And it took forever just to do one song, because of so much, we orchestra and guys coming in, it's a lot of production there, right? We did Don't Throw Our Love Away and presented it. Gwen presented it, and they loved the song. But here's the dilemma. We were either going to get put on the back burner because they didn't have a slot to release another R&B group or whatever at that particular time. Commodores, I think, had just released that album. Stuff was happening, right? Maybe Rick had just came out with You and I or something, right? Stuff was happening, right?
Switch was big right around then too.
Switch was starting, yeah. Bobby had gotten everybody's attention. Oh man, Bobby was amazing. As far as they just, oh my God, Bobby, you couldn't walk anywhere without hearing his name. But we didn't get a chance to do an album. But Lee Young Sr. had just created a jazz division called Mo Jazz, right? And our manager came to us in a rehearsal one day and he said, look, I might have a way we can avoid waiting on getting a shot. They said if we can do a jazz record, then we can get a record out now. So what we did, we said, oh, can we do a jazz record? Of course. All these guys, we had, Ozone was full of some of the best musicians, man. These guys were amazing, all virtuoso musicians. Keyboard player Jimmy Stewart and these guys, man, they were the best of the best, really. So we went back with all those songs that we had been recording in '78 that had all these words. We spent all this year writing words and changing words and flipping words and and breaking people in and took all the words off of most of those songs and made instrumentals out of them. We said, oh yeah, we can do instrumentals. And horn players started getting creative and creating melodies to those songs. And Walk On became the first song from the project. Now here's the history behind Walk On and me being on the interview. Walk On was the very first song I ever wrote, period, as a songwriter. And it was pretty successful. So my very first shot at it, was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, so you made some lemonade out of lemons with that one.
Made some lemonade out of lemons from that one, yes.
Yeah. And I heard a lot of Kool and the Gang, Earth, Wind, and Fire kind of influence going.
Yes. Oh, well, yes. Yeah, we were already that anyway. As a top 40 band, when we was playing in the clubs, you couldn't go hear a top 40 band that played the songs if there's a word I want to use, I don't want to, because I don't want to, I'm very careful at putting down other guys when I'm trying to build up what we did. But we were really good at it, man. We would, if you were going to be on a show with us and you were going to play some of those same songs, you better come ready, because we were going to smoke you on it. If we were doing Earth, Wind, and Fire, we used to do ba-da-da, ba-da-da, da-da-da. What was that?
In the Stone?
Yeah, In the Stone. We would hit that, and it would be so Earth, Wind, and Fire. It would freak me out every time we played it, because it would just really be it. It wouldn't be almost the chords, or the horns kind of got it. You know what I mean? The drummer's kind of playing it. No. And Verdine was my favorite, so I had him down. I loved it. So we did a really good job.
Lee Young produced that one.
Yeah, Lee Young produced that. Yes.
Yeah,
and he was really, if you wasn't he was something else about musicians. You had to be really good, or he wouldn't mess with you. So, and he loved it. I think he really enjoyed doing that project. The dance band had to do a jazz album too. They were caught up in that same little thing right at the same time we were. Another
Motown, yeah.
Yes.
Yep. I love the title though. This is Funkin' Insane.
Yep. That's how we were thinking back then. That was part of that was some of that comedy. That J, all of those songs, all of those titles, because now these are not songs we were really right. That's not Funkin' Insane wasn't the name of that song when we were trying to write it for vocals. It was, who knows what that was then, but that was kind of like This is Funkin' Insane was like meaning what you just told us to do. We've been working on all these songs for a year now. You want us to you want us to change and write some instrumentals out of all of these? This is fucking insane, right?
I mean, it's really, really strong though. Funk, very horn heavy instrumental.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our horn players were the best.
Yeah.
They were the best. Best horn players. I'm sorry, best in the business. They were. They didn't get the credit for being that. They didn't get the credit for being that outside of you seeing them. When you saw them, if Billy Preston was alive today, he'd come right on this screen and say, yes, best horn players. Guaranteed.
And that same year, you guys got to work a little bit with Teena Marie?
Yes. When we did that then, they sent Teena over to Ozone. We had a house. And I say that because we used to call it the Ozone House. People talk about that. Oh man, the Ozone House used to be on 43rd and Crenshaw, on the corner. The most exciting corner in LA, because we rehearsed every day. You could go to McDonald's or Pep Boys right there, and you would hear a live concert as you were anywhere within that, between 43rd and Adams on Crenshaw. It was a concert every day, because we rehearsed every day. There was never a day that we didn't rehearse. I lost my thought.
Teena.
Yes. They sent Teena over to work on some songs. And this was after she had already did Sucker For Your Love with Rick. So they were kind of trying to, they were peeling her away from Rick at this point. Because now they were trying to really create Teena Marie, not Rick's girl Teena, right? Because that started to be a thing, but they wanted to, or at least that's why I felt it was going on. So they sent Teena over to just work on some music with, these cats really have fun and they play good, and I think they could really help you out. She comes over. She's like, I don't know. I don't really know. I say, well, what about something like, and I start the doom, 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 ba-ba-doo, boo, ba-ba-doo-doo-doo, right? I start playing that. And we were so tight as a band that once one of us started playing something, the very first thing that the next guy would play would always be the right thing. It would never be like, you have to stop and say, damn, what you playing? That's not where I'm going with this, you know. No, it would always be the next thing. Keyboard player Jimmy would come in with the first chord to that bass line. It would be the perfect chord. Oh, that's it. I wouldn't even have to stop playing. I just keep on, right? And that's the way that went. Horn players, they did the same thing. Just keep that groove going. As long as you don't change, just hold it down until we figure out what to do. And before we knew it, we was in there, had Behind the Groove killing. She comes in, hey, I don't know, something about this is kind of like makes me feel like it's behind the groove or something. Something about the way the drummer was playing, right? She was like, something, it's like behind the groove, right? She starts writing. We write Behind the Groove together, go in and record it. Dick Rudolph produced. He's really hot at the time. That was the beginning of Teena Marie being Teena Marie, no Rick James. No Rick James influence. Teena Marie's, I'm going to say this. I have to say it because I never really get a chance too often. Teena Marie is Teena Marie. Her voice is her voice. That is her. She's the greatest. One of the best I've ever heard. But that sound, that groove, that feel, her life, I mean her music life. The going from the regular groove to the jazz, all that stuff, all Ozone. All Ozone. All Ozone. I'm going to spin around, say it again. All Ozone, okay? Because we don't get to tell this, right?
No, it's good you tell, especially because I think a lot of people think that maybe it's a Stone City band.
No, exactly. Not to mention that.
Yeah.
Even though I can tell you a little secret on I might get to tell this little. I never got to tell this. Hopefully, and I did see you have Stone City Band on Lannis and those guys on here, right? I never got to say it to him either, and I love him. But Oscar, on Behind the Groove, you came in to overdub some bass on my top of my bass. I ain't crazy. I know you did. It's good. And it didn't, it was a good enhancement. But Oscar is also playing on that bass. I know that. I never got to say that, by the way.
Well, that's beautiful. That's why this is Truth and Rhythm.
Yes.
But Behind the Groove, one of my all-time favorites. One of my all-time favorite singers, too. I mean, for me personally, it's shocking. My favorites, but yeah.
Teena was unbelievable, dude. Her voice was so huge. Her voice was so big. It's like, damn, she was so little, too. Look, we thought of it at the same time. She was so tiny. It's like, really? Really? Yeah. Loved her. She was the best. She was. And I didn't because of Alan McGreer, who, if you guys know Alan wrote a lot of songs with her, Square Biz and Need Your Love, and a lot of songs he wrote with her. Alan, bass player. And so by Alan and her being really close friends, that kind of moved me out, but it didn't move out actual Ozone. It kind of made me not play on all, I only got to play on a few records, me personally, but Ozone, the horn players, Jimmy, keyboard player, Jimmy played with her all the way to the end. Paul, the drummer, Paul is the reason for her whole feel. for the Teena Marie, because, you know, her songs always kind of had a little jazz thing to, you know what I mean? Her stuff was always funky, but just like, how is this funky, but it still feel kind of jazz? How's they doing this, right? That was all Paul Hines. That was Paul Hines. That was the trickery to, that's what Ozone, that's another thing with our songs. It was something about them. They always had this feel. It was, even though it was funk, it's like, damn, but I'm still like some jazz there some kind of way.
Well, especially with the horns. But yeah, let's talk about the next Ozone record. Jump on it.
Yes.
So you got to add vocals. It was a big change from that first.
You got
almost like night and day, really, from that first
record.
But it was also more mainstream R&B than what your other stuff would be.
Well, at that point, the company had completely taken over. Now they were, okay, we're going to put this group out. We're going to put it out for real. And this is something that we're behind now, right? We're going to be behind your movement. So now you have to have a hit, right? Not trusting y'all for this hit. We're going to go get, right? And so they went out and got Michael Lovesmith to produce the record. Now, I didn't realize producing the record meant you were going to actually do the record. I thought producing the record means you were going to come and assist us into a really great project, right? Well, Michael decided this was his opportunity to do an album himself. And he did. I love you, Michael, but you know what you did. And so Michael turns in the album, because remember, Jermaine was hot at that time. And if you go back and listen to those songs, it sounds like a Jermaine album. That if you listen to half of that album, it sounds like a Jermaine album. You flip it over, it turns into an Ozone album. It's kind of weird. Great songs he wrote, but it wasn't us. And then he wrote them so for himself that when he tried to pitch it to the singers in the group, Billy White, Ray, Woodard, he tried to pitch it to these guys to sing them. They didn't really sound right because he wanted them to sound like, he actually wrote them sound like he wrote them all for Jermaine. And Jermaine might have said no to him or never got to him or whatever. But most of those songs sounded like he kind of wrote them, you know, because his vibe is like Jermaine. So that's not a negative. I keep bringing up the Jermaine part. It's actually a positive. And what I did like about it, it immediately brought us to have a sound that was very familiar real quick, right? And it was considered the Motown sound too. And the songs were really good. So it was a good start to the album, even though the single was the song that we wrote, that if you flip over the album, it's Michael was the lead of the album. He was the lead of putting the album together. He was the lead of selling the album to the company, the whole lead of the whole movement. But once they got it and got a hold of it and listened to it, they ended up releasing, I think the first record that came out for that album was Jump on It. No, that was just the name of it. I think they ended up going with Ozonic Bebop.
I don't know. Me personally, I thought one of the strongest ones was Come On In.
Come On In was, oh. Ooh, love me some Come On In. Yes. Come On In was very, very strong song. Yes. Very strong song.
Yeah.
And Ray sang the crap out of that thing too.
Mighty Mighty is not to be confused with the Earth, Wind, and Fire tune.
Mighty Mighty was as rip off as you can rip off. Sorry, Maurice, we had to get you on that. But that wasn't us. That was that we performed it. Okay, good. I'm glad you said that, because realistically, that goes back to what I said when I said we did cover songs. And if you watched us do a cover song, you'd be like, man, that's almost better than Earth, Wind, and Fire the way they sounding right now. You know, this is live, and this is sounding just like, well, that Mighty Mighty, when he brought that to us, that's how we was able to make that really sound like Earth, Wind, and Fire record. Because as soon as he started playing the chords and stuff, we like, man, this is kind of like Earth, Wind, and Fire right here, right? So at that point, it was the horn players instantly was able to jump on that and come up with, we was able to make that a Earth, Wind, and Fire 2 record. Yes, we were.
Well, and you mentioned the Ozonic bebop.
Yes.
Nice bass plucking on that one.
Yes. Now, Ozonic bebop is a little story behind that because, of course, who came up with that? I did. I remember being in the pitch meeting with Michael that produced the album, right? And sang half of it. And because I knew he was going to sing half of it and the reason he sang half of it because he wasn't feeling nothing that we were bringing to the table. It was like everything we played for him, it was kind of like, yeah, but now, I don't know. He kept doing that, right? So now I got Ozonic bebop sitting in my holster, right, saying, nah, I'm not even saying nothing because I've watched him shoot the whole room down. I'm not getting ready to let him shoot me down, right? But then right before the meeting got ready to end, I didn't like the fact that he didn't like nothing. I said, now I don't like the fact that he's shooting everything down. Something weird about that to me. And I go real shy because I was a very shy kid. And I said, look, I wrote this one song. Oh, and it was also my first lyrics that I had written, right? So if you listen to those lyrics, they are kind of corny, but it was my first lyrics. And so I was scared. I was terrified to present this song that I wrote, music and lyrics. And I said, he's going to read those and, thicker and tighter than a jar of Peter Pan, peanut butter, tilt pop. I was all over the place, right? It was a good line that was actually. And so I played him. I said, well, real shy. I said, before everybody go, I said, Michael, I got this one song that I wrote last night. You might want to check it out. And so I started playing the bass line, and he was like, oh, I'm feeling that already, right? He's like, okay, that's the first time he did this the whole meeting. And we're at the end of we had the time to go home from the meeting. So he goes, oh my God, man, this is, okay, I'm feeling this. Okay, so what are we talking about here? What's the song? So I'm like, okay, now I got to read these corny lyrics to him, right? This is a song about our funky, funky sound. The best sound all over town. Jamming to the best that we can. Thicker and tighter than a jar of Peter Pan, peanut butter, right? And he goes, oh my God, this is awesome. I can't, you've been sitting there holding this through the whole meeting? He goes, there, dude. And he goes, oh, I hear this thing, how the drums can go, and the way the drums play, where the drums kind of do this roll all the way through that was his idea. Oh, I think the drums do, because they go with that bass line, right? That's not really the drum beat that I had in mind to go with that bass line, but I roll with it, I work with, right? So I said, okay, yeah, let's do that. And that's how that song came about.
Were you lyrically inspired by Lenny White's Peanut Butter?
Actually, no. I just was sitting there, didn't know what to write, and I'm trying to think of how tight of a band we are. I said, man, we so tight. I said, thicker and tight. I said, well, are we thick? That was already a horrible lyric to have written. We are thicker. Okay, how are we thicker? None of us is fat, so that's not we're not thick like that. I said, well, we're kind of a big group, so that kind of makes us, no, that's not going to work. Okay, what's thick? So jar Peter Pan peanut butter is all I could come up with. And we were thick as a jar of Peter Pan. We were, man, we were tight.
Did you guys go out and tour it all after the first two records, or not yet?
Well, here's why Ozone, to me, missed a lot of our fan base. Motown wasn't a big believer in putting their acts on funk shows and stuff. You know what I mean? Rick James kind of did his own thing. You'd have to be on Rick James's funk show if you're going to He'd be part of that movement, right? Every blue moon, he would maybe go do a Funk Fest with Zap and those guys, you know, a bunch of funk Gap band and stuff. But Motown really kept us, because Motown was kind of pop. It was funk, you know what I mean? They were more pop than like funk. It was R&B, but still they always were going for the pop value.
Yeah, the funk was more polished.
Yes, the polished funk. Everything was polished, exactly. Commodores were polished.
Especially by then, yeah.
Yeah, yes, exactly. And so we were always going for that. I'm so upset with this question. That's why. Because the answer to that is no, but yes, okay? No, because the reason you haven't seen us live is because of the answer no, because they didn't put us in that place where you could see us. Unless you were a Sammy Davis Jr. fan or something like that, you wouldn't have seen Ozone. Unless you caught us the one or two times that we did get to do it. We had an option thrown at us when we were releasing records. Our record would come out and it'd be on the radio, get in the top 100, start climbing the charts, doing all the right things. And then something would come up because we were such a great band and Billy Preston always wanted to use us. Syreeta used us. DeBarge used us. High Energy used us. Everybody used us for their backup music, right? And they all was really doing some really fabulous things and really great shows. Billy Preston opening up for Sammy Davis Jr. Okay, here's the question that was asked to us. Manager comes into the room. He says, okay, guys, we can either stick around, keep doing our thing, try to get us some get on funk tours, you know, maybe do that kind of stuff. Or you can open as Ozone, then play with Billy Preston for Sammy Davis Jr. That was a no-brainer in 1981.
A couple of legends.
Billy, the fifth Beatle and Sammy Davis Jr., you can't say no to that. No, we want to play with Lakeside. You know, what? No. So it was an easy decision to make. It didn't want help now, and, you know, 25, 30 years later, when people are trying to remember who the group is, and they really can, thank God the records were great because that's what saved us. Those two songs were really good songs. Yeah. And all the stuff that we did back up and be a part of were really good songs to the ear. So our music got into your head, but we didn't get into your visual. We never got to get into your visual. Not enough people, not the people that are like now supporting us again. They kind of didn't get a chance to see Ozone then.
Right. So I felt like the third record, Send It, you guys came into your own, you know, as far as records, you know,
and that was,
and then it carried through from there. Yes. So that's a great funk album.
Yes.
You know,
well, that's when they finally released us all and said, okay, you guys know what you're doing. Teena know what she's doing. Y'all know what you're doing. Just go have fun. That was the Go Have Fun record.
It's fun.
We got to pick the studio. We recorded at Stevie Wonder's studio. He had the mobile studio where it's a great place. It's fun. Nobody around to tell us how to be, you know, we could have fun and laugh. When there was a joke, we could actually laugh at it, you know. It was this real fun record. And it was all on our best.
I got to run through some of the highlights for the viewers and listeners. Gigolette Let It Off, which was one of the bigger hits for Ozone. Yes. And Teena was involved in that.
Yes.
Definitely a sister song to Behind the Groove.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And Teena was also on Over and Over Again, the ballad.
Yes.
Ballad.
Beautiful ballad.
Keep on Dancing was another great funk track. Bass is killing it on that one.
Yeah. We do that live. It goes over real good.
We Bad, also a great funk jam. 3 out of the first 4 cuts were killing it funk-wise.
Yes.
Do What You Wanna is real kind of eclectic. You even got like reggae vibe in there.
Yes, and we had a lot of fun doing that, and because we were music people, man. We didn't want to. We could do any kind of music, so anytime somebody came up with something, we said, "Oh shoot, let's do that." Yes, and the trumpet player kind of had the concept to, let's do like this reggae type thing. I got this thing, check it out, do what you want, what you want, what you want. It was like, oh yeah, right, and great songs.
Girl, I Can't Wait, another really slamming funk track.
Yeah.
To me, a little bit like Mass Production's Firecracker.
Yeah.
At least as good, I thought. And that was a huge hit.
Yeah, that was a huge hit.
Interesting that Send It ended up being the title of the album, because that's definitely one of the mellower tracks. I don't know how you decided on that one to be the album title, but
that's pushing the pop button again. Send It was more the pop flavor, right? And that's what they were trying to do, was they were trying to do the pop. They still wanted to keep it. This is a Motown record. It's a class act, right? It's not just some funk, No, they always presented class. And I think Send It is the reason why. Plus, it is a really good song. It was a good message. It was kind of hard times then. That was a well-needed message. They didn't promote the record, but but at the time we were creating the song, it was a really much-needed message.
Yeah.
And if you really go out there and YouTube that song or something and listen to it, it's a much-needed message today. Probably needed more today.
Yeah.
Than any time.
Well, all in all, that was a great record. Should have done better. Anyone who's not up on it, who loves funk R&B, needs to go explore Send It. And I already mentioned Keep on Dancing, but that record reminded me a little bit of Candyman, or a little of a Rick James kind of, Candyman by Mary Jane Girls.
Yes.
They're sort of some of the Rick James flavor on that one.
Yes.
Well,
it was all family, so we we tried to keep it right in that little thing there. Yes.
Hey man, he was killing it then, so that's a good one to emulate.
He was definitely. I love me some Rick, man. That's my boy.
Lil Suzy totally continued that vibe to me. I mean, another stellar record.
Yes.
So, what can you tell us? What do you remember about the making of that one?
Lil Suzy is where I'll tell you what. I keep saying this, but we were such a musical group that, and we played every day together, every day. I mean, I know I keep saying it, and I keep saying it really hard like that, because it was every day for real. And we played so much music that we never limited ourselves on any music or just striking up any kind of grooves. And that was just one of those times that, I was a big Devo fan. I whip it. I was, come on, man. Come on, you just can't beat that, right? That's just good. It's just great. And when I hear great, I want to have something to do with great. And every time I hear great, some kind of way I end up, that's what we do as music people. We dabble with it. And so I was dabbling with Devo, I think, when we came up with this whole Lil Suzy idea. And we start thinking, wait a minute, a keyboard player, like I say, when you strike up grooves, nobody has to look at somebody and say, hey man, play this part. Nope. The next day he comes in with I'm like, oh really? Is that what we and the drummer, and that's how we wrote songs. We really didn't write songs like, we wrote most of our songs together, as opposed to, I come in and I got this song, okay, horn guys, I want you to do this, guitar player. No, we were together 24/7 pretty much anyway as a group. And the Ozone house was a house where Ozone lived and hung out. If you didn't live there, you hung out there. You'd only not sleep there if you didn't live there. Other than that, you were there at the Ozone house. It was the place to be. So,
well, at that time too, I mean, new wavers were biting some of the funk, and funk acts were biting some of the new wave. And that's but Super Freak and Prince, and Alligator Woman with Cameo, and just, it's like every funk group had their new wave kind of.
Exactly. We was just making sure we gave, we represented and gave our version, and it turned out to be what Motown liked the most. Oh, because we were the first to, I want to say the first to actually do it. Yeah, we were the first to do it. Because I think, check the years, but I think Little Suzy actually came out before Super Freak did. I'm not mistaken.
Well, anyway, it's close in time. And Motown, too, even was dabbling a little with new wave kind of sounds, because Rockwell, Someone's Watching You was kind of new wave.
Yeah.
And also Jermaine's Let Me Tickle Your Fancy.
Yeah, most of that stuff came after Little Suzy, by the way. I'm still going to say it. Yeah, we started the whole thing with that, I'm telling you. And most of the people that worked there were like, that actually made us more popular at the company than anything, because it was something that we did where we actually stretched out way beyond what Motown's music was doing and was about. And it was, the timing was perfect, like you say, because of the other songs that were Alligator, Bus Boys even, just Bus Boys by themselves was so hot. And Eddie was hot in the movies, and he was using Bus Boys in the movies, and the boys are back in town and all of that. That was the hottest thing going then. So it was a good thing for us to jump on at the time, and Motown did not have an act doing that at that time.
We used to be together. True love we shared between me and you. And in our hearts our love was real and strong forever, as we cherished the nights and held each other